I can't get enough of that. That is so good. Today, I'm gonna show you how to make a silken tofu soup, otherwise known as Korean Soondubu Jjigae. This is a hearty and savory stew of pork and soft tofu. It's red hot and delicious, and I'm gonna show you how to make it step by step.
It's the big night.
Let's begin by making the most important part of this dish, the stock. We're gonna create an umami-packed stock using 3 ingredients. The first is niboshi, which is dried baby sardines. To begin, we're gonna remove the head and we're gonna remove the underside of the belly, which contains all of the organs. The reason why we take that out is because if we leave it in, it's gonna add a little bit of a bitterness to our stock, which we don't want. We're going to use about 40 of these. Yes, that's right, 40. The next ingredient is kelp, which is an umami powerhouse. We're gonna be using 1 long strip of this. And finally, we're gonna add some chopped daikon radish, which is gonna give us a little sweetness, but you can substitute this with an onion. Now grab a small saucepan and add your niboshi, kelp, and daikon, along with 4 cups of water. You're gonna bring this to a boil and lower the heat and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. And what you're looking to do is to reduce this by about half so that you end up with 2 cups of stock in the end. As your stock is simmering, go ahead and skim off the scum, and when it's done, drain out the solids. And you'll end up with this beautiful golden dashi. This beautiful golden stock is going to add amazing flavor and depth to your silken tofu soup. Not only that, but you can add it into other Asian recipes like stir fries, Japanese dishes, and other Korean dishes as well. Which leaves me wondering, do you make a stock like this for your recipes? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. So let's move on to the rest of our ingredients. We're going to slice an onion into thin strips along with 4 cloves of garlic. Next, I like to add in some maitake mushrooms, whereas shiitake is more commonly used. We're also gonna need 2 blocks of silken tofu, the namesake of this dish. Go ahead and drain them and set them aside. And last, we come to the special ingredient of this dish, gochugaru, ground Korean sun-dried chilies. Gochugaru has a sweet earthiness that gives this silken tofu soup its distinct flavor. And one important thing to note is that you cannot substitute this with the red pepper flakes that you might find at your local grocery store. It has to be gochugaru for that real Soondubu Jjigae flavor. We're gonna add a couple of spoonfuls of this to a bowl along with an equal amount of sesame oil. Give it a mix, and I'm adding just a little extra finely grounded spicy gochugaru for that extra kick.
The party is off to a good start.
Now that we have all the preparation out of the way, let's get to cooking. In a large pot, cook your onions and garlic. Now is a good time to add any freshly sliced chilies into your stew if you want it spicier. You want to cook the onions and garlic until they're just about softened, and then add in your sliced mushrooms and cook them for about 3 minutes. And now it's time to add our meat. I'm using thinly sliced pork belly, but other cuts of pork would work fine as well. Just make sure to cut them into bite-sized pieces. Now you want to cook this until the pink is no longer pork. The pink is not... until the pork is no longer pink, and then you're gonna add in your beautiful golden stock. Let the soup come to a boil, throw a lid on there, reduce the heat, and let it simmer for about 7 minutes. When that's done, add your chili oil mixture into the soup. When you start stirring that chili mixture into your soup, you're gonna see that beautiful crimson red hue bloom out into your stew and turn it just a beautiful hue of red. Now season your soup with some salt and a little bit of sugar if you want to balance out that heat, but I'm gonna leave the sugar out of mine. Now you do want to season it slightly stronger than you would like it, because once you add that tofu in, it's gonna leach out moisture and it's gonna water down the flavor of your stew slightly. And now add in your silken tofu blocks, break it up with a spoon, and give it a big mix. And go ahead and let it simmer for about 5 minutes or until the tofu has heated all the way through.
More good, healthful food.
Now when it comes to finishing off this dish, you have to add in the raw egg. Now I like to add in just the egg yolk because when this dish is traditionally prepared, it's made in this super hot stone bowl that gets served to you. So when the raw egg goes in, it slightly cooks the whites. But because I'm using a regular bowl, those egg whites will never cook and they'll just remain slimy and raw. Finally, hit it with some sliced green onions on top. Now that our stew is finished, let's go ahead and dig in. I'm gonna start off with that egg yolk, And oh man, that is a thing of beauty when it just starts running all over. Oh yeah. That tofu is silky smooth and soft, and the texture contrasts so beautifully with that rich and unctuous pork belly. That sesame oil adds wonderful nuttiness, and that stock adds incredible depth and umami without tasting fishy. I can't get enough of that. That is so good. And for more spiciness, check out this video here and this playlist over here dedicated to spicy foods. And if you're new here, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell.